Title: Jealous? No way. Written by Cynotical. Scaramouche? Oh wait. Kunikazushi can only scoff at the sight before him. Wandering the streets of Sumeru proves fruitful for his endeavors in turning over a new leaf. However, it also brings him some rekindled sparks that rage in your presence. Oh, he thinks, biting his lips. I wonder why this is happening. Because Kunikuzushi never feels pure, unadulterated rage. Not after he received an animal vision. Not after he gave up his chance at obtaining a gnosis. Because Kunikuzushi never feels attachment. Again, not after he gave up a gnosis. But for some odd, very odd reason, a strange cry wails in his stomach, and his previous ways as a vengeful, merciless puppet returns. At the sight of you, oh you, Kunikuzushi's lips thin and his electric eyes can't help but narrow. Why are you smiling like that? He wonders, jaw clenching. It's annoying. Really. Don't you know what it'll do to the people around you? Don't you know that your smile can work wonders? It shouldn't be shed so easily. That's all Kunikuzushi is saying. And why at him, of all people? Kunikozushi doesn't like the look you are giving to the particularly elderly looking guy. What was his name again? I'll have... Oh, whatever. It's not enough for him to remember him anyway. Elderly looking guy number 2 over here. The Grand Sage is number 1. It's nothing worth your smile. First of all, he looks 20 and 50 at the same time. And second of all, he is boring. Kunikozushi isn't boring. There's a reason why people call him the wandering eccentric after all. Excuse me. The street vendor who Kunikozushi just so happened to stop in front of stutters nervously. Are you going to purchase anything? Kunikozushi scowls, but not before fetching some more out of his many pockets. There, he purchased the most rotten, most vile apple, and then he tosses it straight at elderly looking guy number 2's face. Bystanders who, of course, know elderly looking guy number 2's rank gasp, eyes widen, and you, the most important of them all, have an expression of shock, but also mirth. And you, who of course knows Kunikozushi can only offer him one of your joyful smiles, and darkens above. Does it work wonders? Kunikozushi? You say, trying to stifle your laughter as the man, who keep people calling Alhedam, runs an annoyed hand through his hair. Why'd you throw an apple at him? Alhedam can only assume that you are used to Kunikozushi's antics, because no one, not even the mercenaries, is doing a thing about the particular eccentric. In fact, most of them seem to be too amazed by the fact that the Academia's scribe was sniped in the head by some random wanderer. Kunikozushi can only shrug in response, half-gloved hand taking in yours, as he leads you along the bustling Sumeru streets. People part ways for him, all marveling at the sight of his luxurious hat and flowing indigo hair because this is their false god, the man who threw an apple at Alhedam. After waking up from his brief coma, Kunikouzushi's mind was flooded with you, his only hope, because although he's experienced a handful of betrayals, you are not one of them. You are you, the only one who hasn't left him. And it just so happens that Nahida, who has a peculiar habit of reading minds, noticed your prominent presence in the puppet's mind. So alongside the goddess of wisdom, it has been you who was nursing Kunikozushi back to full health. But, oh, if he could, he might as well accept defeat for the rest of his life because now that he can walk and talk, you no longer have any responsibility to take care for him. But you still do, as evident in the way you stroke his scarred hands carefully, as evident in the way you don't question where he's leading you because he's Kunikozushi. And for some odd reason, that revelation brings him joy. Kunikozushi doesn't love you. You just so happen to keep stumbling into his life and stringing him alongside your antics. Kunikozushi doesn't love you. He just doesn't want you to so carelessly show off that pretty smile of yours because what if someone else does? His fantasies plummet at the thought, and as if the world wanted him gone, A random stranger stopped him in his tracks. Excuse me? The random stranger, who Kunikuzushi will give the name Extra Number 1, crosses his arm. Extra Number 1 narrows his eyes at the wanderer, pupils trailing over Kunikuzushi's linked hands with yours, and all the puppet can do is laugh. What do you want? Kunikuzushi replies, clicking his tongue. Why are so many people annoying him today? Get your hands off them. Extra Number 1 states, trying to pry Kunikuzushi's hand away from yours. You were hurting them. Kunikuzushi's falter for a second. He's not, though. You respond obliviously, and the wanderer quickly scoffs. His free hand places some distance in between you and Extra Number 1. And since there are no mercenaries in sight, Kunikuzushi scowls. Resorting to lying now, He pulls you in closer to his side, shielding you from Extra Number 1 with his own body. Shut up before I make you. Extra Number 1 has the audacity to look offended. Well, this isn't about you anyway. I want to talk to YN. YN doesn't want to talk to you. Kunikuzushi says simply, and Extra Number 1 tilts their head. Why are you talking for them? Why are you talking to them? You, who has had enough of seeing this elementary level fight merely sighs. Enough, Kunikuzushi. I'm sure they have something important to say. Right? Extra Number 1 rejoices at this opportunity, and Kunikuzushi's grip, once again, tightens around yours. Something hammers in his chest for some odd reason. And although you are just being fair, a small childish part of him can't help but wonder, are you betraying me, too? What's so good about Extra Number 1 that you are willing to toss aside his protection? What's so good about Extra Number 1 that you are willing to exchange the slightest bit of conversation, the slightest bit of hope to that scoundrel that'll send them flying with thoughts of future with you? Yes, actually. Extra Number 1 eyes your interlocked hands with Kunikuzushi once more, before gently placing their hands atop yours. You can only nudge Kunikuzushi in an attempt to stop the hurricane that brews above. YN, I've known you for 2 whole months now. Extra Number 1 trails off and Kunikuzushi observes your response. Of course, the puppet knows where this is going. He's seen it in overdramatic plays in light novels from his homeland. He's seen this exact scenario play out in his mind whenever his thought go too far and dare to envision a life with you. He's seen this, your expression of shock, as Extra Number 1 bows your head and attempts to kiss your hand. He slaps Extra Number 1's face before their grimy lips can touch the back of your hand. Extra Number 1 nearly growls, and all Kunikuzushi can wonder is this person even a person? I like you, YN. Please go out with me. Extra Number 1 finishes, as if they weren't just slapped and disrespected by Kunikuzushi. Your jaw hangs agape in shock, and Kunikuzushi, who sees this as a win and as an absolute rejection for Extra Number 1, loses it. Don't you see? I'm right here, he says, about to absolutely pummel Extra Number 1, but your reassuring grip and tug of his arm silences that primordial urge of his to kill, to exact vengeance on all that has ever wronged him. Kunikuzushi hates people taking what's his, what could have been his, and this is no exception. He doesn't quite know why this feeling started, but his emotion considers you his. Kunikuzushi thinks you are his, that you could have been and will be his, and at your mere gaze, he falters. Kunikuzushi? He shivers at the way you call his name. Don't go beating people up now, okay? You can't tell me what to do. He lowers his fist. This time, it's your turn to lead him away on those puppet strings of his. Yet, he can't help but wonder if they are painted red for fate, because it belongs to you now. His fisted hand presses against the rampage of his heartless chest, and although there is no beat, Kunikuzushi is content. You owned it. That imperfection of his. That monstrous version of him that has no heart, no gnosis. He has no heart, but why does it feel like his ribs constrict something? Why does it feel like he's human, even if it's just for a second? His violent electric eyes trace over the back of your hand, and all Kunikuzushi can offer is an unreadable expression that you will never get to see. That's why